That's what we were sort of told from the McMahon family. We had them all out there. Bar Linda McMahon, of course, was out there telling us how they're going to change things, how it's all been bad, and how it's Baron Corbin's fault, apparently. The ratings haven't been so good. Interesting stance they took from it. Obviously, Matt, we knew, I certainly thought the rating was going to go up. It has gone up by 18%, but that is not really a big surprise to me, considering the amount of sort of advertised people they had. We knew Brock was coming in. We knew Braun was returning. There was a lot of promotion for this. So I just thought, I knew this was going to have an increase. There was, the question is, can they sustain this? That's always the big thing when you don't have these guys around like Brock and from what I'm hearing, Braun will not be working any matches up until the Royal Rumble. So again, that keeps him off for a while. But what did you make of Raw last night, Matt? As a show, obviously we had. Suppose you got to address one of the first things. Hulk Hogan returning, obviously. To talk about his memories with Mean Gene. It was a fitting tribute, I felt. But, a lot of the emails I got about it, very mixed, I think, still. And I did feel like when he came out, it was a little bit of a sort of dead air moment of sort of not knowing how to react to him. But then, obviously, if he's going to talk about Mean Gene, I think that fans are going to respect that enough. But it was a little bit strange, Matt. I mean, I don't know if there was something. I can't really put my finger on it, but it felt like it wasn't quite right just yet.
It was a bit, forced, I suppose. But then, under the circumstances, you can understand that. It is a bit of a tragic circumstance, so the fans might have been a little bit more lenient with him because of this. So, I mean, fair play to them though, because everyone should be allowed to express their sadness at the loss. Mm-hmm. So he's just as entitled to that as anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, it was in Hogan's hometown, which I think helped as well. I think there was any a sort of moment that they were going to do that. They obviously knew he was there, so it kind of made a lot of sense. I think going forward for Hogan, because people have been asking, is he signed? Is he back in WWE now? And I don't think that's really on the cards just yet. I don't doubt they'll sign him on these sort of small deals, or if they go to Saudi Arabia and the Prince wants him. I don't doubt things like that. But I think in terms of hosting WrestleMania and those rumours, for me, I got to say, I wouldn't put him in that role just now. I mean, I don't see the point of it. I really don't. And kind of like what it reminded me a little bit is, obviously, I spoke to Matt about this earlier. It reminded me of Billy Graham, superstar Billy Graham, who was a huge star in the 70s. And then he used to come out in the 80s in WWF and do the same stuff that he did in the 70s, but just that crowd, they never really got him anymore, but he could only do the same stuff. And I kind of felt like that a lot with Hogan. Like, he came out, he done the same stuff again at the beginning, and I was like, it's just not there anymore for me. Like that nostalgia. I haven't seen him for a while. Obviously, I saw him at the Saudi Arabia show, but I haven't seen him in sort of a raw, different atmosphere. And I kind of just, I don't know, that buzz just gone for me. It was very, very different. And I think if you're going to use Hogan correctly now, for me anyway, I think I would just use him, backstage, WrestleMania every now and then, sort of cameos here and there. But I think to have him signed to a contract deal, I mean, I don't really see much value on him on sort of Raw every week. I don't see him as a general manager. And I don't see him being WWE's ideal ambassador to sort of go in and do sort of deals and sort of marry up charities, because you're always going to get that backlash wherever he goes, unfortunately. And whether that's right or wrong is another thing to itself. But if you're WWE now in this kind of area of what they're doing and what they're trying to put across, I just feel like it will be a bit of a burden at this point. But like I said before, I can see him being called up to go to Saudi Arabia. If that guy wants him, he'll probably take that paycheck. I mean, let's face it, he was over there 5 days before the whole WWE roster got over there because this prince just wanted to hang out with him and Jimmy Hart. So, I think if that's on the cards, Matt, he's always got that to fall back on, which is obviously going to be a decent amount of money. What about for you, Matt? I mean, is there any roles that you could see Hogan, like a story, or is there anything he can do in this day and age that you'd think that might work, or they've got to just be careful now, and is it just going to play out like I said?
Sometimes moments come up when he is useful. I mean, like they found out at Saudi, like if, of course, some people over there was into him, so he was going to be a big draw and an attraction, so they decided to risk it and bring him over there and use him for that. So I think as long as Hogan's still breathing, he's always going to leave that door open to return himself.
Yeah.
And I think also from WWE's point, although sometimes circumstances are made difficult, he is such a iconic piece of wrestling history that they won't ever completely sever ties. There's always the possibility that if the right opportunity arises, that they will bring him back again. And I don't expect that we've seen the last of him at all, not in the slightest bit. I think he's always going to return at some point. It is just a question of what kind of role, really. There isn't really one for him now, so I don't think we'll see him anytime soon, but no doubt something will arise sooner or later.
Yeah, I had visions when he came out of Vince McMahon sitting with the headset on with like a red button in front of him or something that could just switch the mic off in case it got... how Hogan is when he does get in these moments, he sort of gets carried away and forgets what he's saying and stuff. And I just had this vision backstage of Vince just sitting there with his hand ready to press it, just in case. I know Hogan just sort of, just blacks out the whole arena or something, and his mic shuts off. I don't know. Go to commercial. Done. But yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll have to see where that goes. Certainly, it's definitely not the last of him. I just don't see him in a full-time role with the company. I think that's sort of gone now for him, but I do see him obviously being involved now and then with them, especially with the Saudi Arabia deal. 9 more years of that. I think you can expect at least, Matt, possibility of a Hogan match even, I reckon. Wow. But we'll see. That's for sure. Now, of course, that wasn't the only thing to happen on Raw. There was, of course, other stuff as well. The opening segment, Matt, we had John Cena returning, who looks even more scarier with the hat over the new hair. For me, I was like, oh man, it's just not doing it for me. I'm like, where is he going? He's trying to be the old John Cena with a massive green shirt and the cap, but at the same time he's like an older John Cena. He's maturing. He's doing other things now. It's a very mixed bag at the minute with the character, I feel. And of course he had the run-in with Drew McIntyre. Unfortunately, from my point of view, it's the same old stick that he gives to everybody. And when he always throws out that line, I've heard it all before, and he won't be the last. We've heard that. I was hoping they were going to just do something a little bit unique and special with Drew, because I've got high hopes on the guy, but I felt it was a little bit sort of, it was going okay, and then I was like, nah, it's just the same old. And then, of course, we got this sort of tag match at the beginning. What did you make of the sort of segment, Matt, and obviously having John Cena back at least this week?
It is good to see him back. I mean, it is a time when they need him as well. Like, they're down that overblown superhero kind of person to look up to now. I mean, Roman's not there, unfortunately, anymore, so I suppose bringing Cena back does make perfect sense. Someone for the kids to be inspired by. But yeah, I think you're right. It is the same old storyline. We've seen it too many times now, and it doesn't really bode well for Drew. I mean, maybe they'll get a WrestleMania match out of it, which might be something, but still, it's kind of like when you have 2 stars like that, one rising in the ranks and one who's been at the top of the business for so many years now. They could easily take bigger and bolder like matches than that for WrestleMania even. So it's kind of difficult. I mean, especially this tag team match that we got, it's just too basic. We see that, or it's so predictable. It's like as soon as you see those kind of people get involved and then the fight breaks out, you're like, well, this is going to be a tag team match. It's almost like that comedic thing that Teddy Long used to do.
Yeah. That's a good analogy there. I mean, it is just, it was just not. I don't know. It's just something missing. I mean, I only got to see towards the end of it, right, too, Matt. But did John Cena mention anything about like the title thing for him in the Rumble, like mentioning about the 16 or belts or whatever, or did that not come up?
Not too much on that. Which
it's a shame.
As well. But he did say kind of like everyone else is throwing their name in the hat, so why don't I? You know, it just kind of felt like, you know, why the hell not? You know, it didn't really come across as passionate or anything.
I remember now. He said something about like I didn't have a match last year. I'll be damned if I don't get one this year. All this rubbish. Even though he was like advertised on billboards like months before, so I don't know why he'd think he can't get a match at WrestleMania. Crikey, if John Cena can't get one, Zack Ryder, he must be sort of thinking, what have I got to do then? Ridiculous, really. I was hoping they were going to sort of prime up. If John Cena was going to be in the Rumble, like, you know, all right, even if you're not going to go with John Cena as a winner, at least let us believe he might actually win it for a cause, and the cause would be easy for him. He's going for the 16th time. He wants to match it. He wants to, you know, get over the hurdle and become the next, you know, overtake Ric Flair. But I don't know. It's like that seems to have just gone out of their focus now. It was all about that at one time. No, that's a storyline. It would be perfect. It'd be an easy thing to do. It wouldn't be difficult to sell that. And it probably wouldn't really matter who he faces. You could get a guy over as a sort of new champion even, and have him just face John Cena, and it just be all about that sort of moment. Can he do it? But yeah, I don't know. Another wasted opportunity. Maybe they'll mention it on the night. Who knows, if you're lucky for that one. So yeah, we got that. Obviously, he's made his entry in. Other stuff that we saw on the night as well, Matt. We had Ronda Rousey in this new show. What was that called? Bliss? A
Moment of Bliss.
Oh,
I'm sure
God.
They kept saying it was like the first one. I'm sure we've had a segment of this before somewhere.
Oh. Yeah, original names as usual. The best catchy names. That must have taken them a while to come up with. So we get this show. I mean, first of all, Matt, it's just, you know, Alexa Bliss. Is she right for this role? Do you think she's going to be good at it?
Well, of course, she's always been good on the mic.
Yeah.
It's just a question of what can she do right now. I mean, obviously WWE's limited her to what she can do, which is a shame. But, you know, it's better to see her on TV in some capacity rather than not at all. So I guess if this is all they can do with her right now, then that's fine. The only other option is to manage someone, which I don't know. I'd rather just see this for a while until she's ready to come back to the ring. Yeah,
good point. Now, obviously, what come out of this was quite an interesting, interesting ending to it. I didn't see this coming, I have to say, but obviously when Nia come out, and then Sasha Banks, and then some really weird sort of dialogue between one another. I don't know where they were going with all this, but he ended up, Matt, Sasha Banks is back suddenly in the picture. You know, 1 minute we're thinking her and Bayley are going just for those tag belts, and now it's this has happened. You know, it's like, well, it's almost like we're going 3 years back and forget everything else. Just this is the Sasha Banks. What did you think about this decision, Matt? And obviously them sort of just turning it on its head almost, and sort of going with somebody a little, you know, who hasn't really been involved in the title picture for quite a while now. But all of a sudden, you know, we know Sasha Banks. We know what she can do. She's definitely a star that isn't really being maximised at all. And if anything, it's almost like Alexa Bliss sort of took her gimmick for about a year, and then they've had sort of Sasha trying to be a baby face when we kind of know you know, her probably more, you know, her role in real life is more of a heel. I don't know why they don't try and capitalise on that, but in any case, what do you make of it, Matt? You're a Sasha Banks fan yourself. Is this good news for you, or is this just, you know, what we're going to get a